Branch line priorities. Thomas was glad to be working back on his branch line with his two faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabel. It is good to have you back, and nice to see you smiling again, they both said. I'm glad to be back too, replied Thomas. I am glad the Fat Controller realised how hard working I've been. Now I'm sorry to say, after Percy, Duck and Thomas had pulled the express, Thomas had become conceited. Working on the branch line hadn't helped either, and he would often make Percy and Duck tired. The Fat Controller has clearly realised that my branch line is the priority of this railway. If you think about it, I collect all the passengers from the small stations to get around the island. You wouldn't see Gordon or Henry do that, Thomas said. I think he understands how hard working I am because of how well I headed the express. We all pulled the express, interrupted Percy. Duck and I were there too. That's right, Thomas. All three of us were the reason for the success of that train. We're all heroes of the line. Pah, puffed Thomas. You broke down, Percy. Clearly you weren't experienced enough for it. Percy and Duck were furious, and they began to think about how they could prove Thomas wrong. That night there was a terrible storm. It was gone by the next morning, but many lines had to be cleared. Thomas was working on his branch line. He was running late because Bertie was held up. When he arrived at Elsbridge, Henry was already waiting. Hurry up, Thomas, you're making me late, he said. It's not my fault, huffed Thomas. Bertie was late because of the storm. That's not my problem, Henry replied. It's your responsibility to be on time, not Bertie's. And with that, Thomas was off. So Thomas tried as hard as he could to make up for lost time. He raced down the branch line, but the line hadn't been thoroughly checked for debris and danger. After the storm, a tree was on the verge of falling and was going to land on the line at any moment. Thomas was completely unaware. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the tree plummeted onto the line. Horrors! Cried Thomas. But it was too late. There was an almighty crash and Thomas came off the tracks. Oh no, Thomas sighed. This is all my fault, and all my passengers will be late. Soon Bertie came to collect the passengers and get them to their destinations, whilst Thomas remained derailed. Then Percy and Duck came from the opposite direction. Percy, Duck! Cheered Thomas. Will you help me back onto the line? I'm sorry, Percy said. I might break down if I help you. And I'm not experienced enough, replied Duck. And the two engines continued down the line. Thomas was upset. What have I done? He said. I've been rude to all my friends, and I haven't been able to appreciate them for their achievements. I've become like Gordon. Evening soon came, and Edward came to hoist Thomas back onto the line with chains. Thank you, Edward, Thomas said. That's all right, Thomas. That's what friends are for. But I haven't been a good friend to Duck and Percy, Thomas sighed. Thomas puffed back to his sheds, feeling very concerned. He realised he had a lot of apologising to do.